Hi there, it's 1T, and in this video we'll be talking about how to solve survey problems. So let's go ahead and get started. On number 1, it says the results of the survey are summarized in this figure. Notice A is a set of students willing to donate blood, and B, the B circle, represents the set of students willing to serve breakfast to donors. It says how many students are willing to donate blood. Well, you're willing to donate blood if you're in the A circle. So be careful, you include the 370 and the 120. $370 plus 120. And so what is that? $490? How many are willing to donate blood but not serve breakfast? The key words here are but not. So willing to donate blood, that means they're in circle A. But they're not willing to serve breakfast, that means we can't include people that are in circle B. And so that's just going to be 370. How many weren't willing to do either? They weren't willing to donate blood or serve breakfast. So that puts them out here outside of these two circles. So that would be 290. Letter D, how many are willing to donate blood or serve breakfast to donors? Now, the word or has got the same meaning as union. So basically, you're in set A, or you're in set B, or both. I always think of the word combine. So if you combine everybody in circle A and circle B, you're going to add 370, 120, and 220. And if you add all that up, you should get 710. Now I didn't ask, but I could say how many students were surveyed. They didn't tell us. But if you add up all the numbers, 370, 120, 220, and 290, that would give you the universal set, which is the number of students that were surveyed. And I'm getting 1,000 when I do that. All right, let's move on to number 2. So it says use the Venn diagram, which shows the number of elements in region 1 through region 4 to answer the following questions. Really, the key here is, do you understand what we mean when we say or when we have not a certain set, like not B or the complement of B. So if you feel like you've got pretty good understanding of and or statements and complement, then you could probably go ahead and try these and then watch the video. All right, let's go ahead and go through this. So how many students belong to set A or set B? So again, when you see or, think union. So that's basically all the elements in set A or set B or both. We're literally going to combine the two sets together. So we have 25 plus 7 plus 21, which is 53. How many elements belong to set B? Well, everybody that's in the B circle belongs to set B. So there's 7 here that also belong to A, but we don't care about that. We just care that they're in set B, they're in the B circle. So 7 plus 21, which is 28. How many belong to set A? Well, this time you're adding 25 and 7. So what is that, 32? How many elements belong to neither set A nor set B. So neither set A nor set B. Well, that would be these guys. These are the people that aren't in either of the two sets. So that'd be 23. How many elements belong to set A but not set B? So they're in A but not B. That means I need to shut out this part. So there's just 25 there. How many elements belong to set A and B? Well, when we see and, we should think intersection. And so it's really the elements that are in both sets, and that would be this region here, and there's 7. How many elements belong to set B but not A? So here we have B, but we can't include the ones that are in A, so that's going to be 21. All right, let's move on to the next problem. So this time we're dealing with 3 sets. So I think the challenge for students sometimes is, sometimes you're just looking at 2 of the circles and you've got to be able to kind of shut out the other circle, or just basically isolate the 2 that you're interested in. So it says 60 people were contacted and responded to a movie survey. They were asked which type of movies they like to watch. The options were comedies, dramas, and science fiction. Notice we're using C for comedies, D for dramas, and S for science fiction. The Venn diagram illustrates the survey's results. Use the Venn diagram to answer the following questions. How many of those surveyed liked comedies, but neither dramas nor science fiction? So that means you got to be in the comedy circle, but you can't be in the drama circle or the science fiction circle. So you can see there's only going to be 9 there. Dramas and science fiction, but not comedies. Now remember, when we see and, we should think intersect. So drama and science fiction. So we're just focused on these 2 circles here. And when we say and or intersect, it's what the 2 circles have in common. So these guys and these guys here, they're the ones that are in both circles. So there's a total of 11. But it says not comedies, so we can't count the 6 here. So it's just going to be 5. All right, on C it says dramas or science fiction. So dramas or science fiction, we're going to union these 2 circles here. Again, I'm kind of just ignoring C right now. So I want to, now let's see, because it's or, we're going to union this time. So remember, we want to think combined, dramas and science fiction. So that's everything here combined. But then it says, but not comedies. So we have to take out the stuff. So we have the union of these 2 circles. We could shade them both, but we can't include comedies. So this part's excluded. So you're going to have 3 plus 5 plus 10. So 18. How many like exactly one movie style? Well, these are the ones that just like comedies. These are the ones that just like dramas. And these are the ones that just like sci-fi. So what is that? 9, 3, and 10. So 9 and 3 is 12, and 10 is 22. How many like at least 2 movie styles? Now be careful with the words here. At least 2 means 2 or more. It's 2 or 3. That's the most we could have. So these are the guys that like 2 movie types. So here you have comedy and dramas. These are the people that like comedy and science fiction. These are the ones that like drama and science fiction. So we're going to add these 3 numbers plus this one here. These are the ones that like all 3. So we've got 7 plus 4 plus 6 plus 5, that's this plus plus this plus this. Okay, so we have 11 and 11, which is 22. None of the movie styles, that's these guys out here. All right. Oops, I'm sorry, I just went off the grid. Okay, so these are the ones that were at least 2. We counted the 6, 7, 4, and 5. And here we were picking the guys that are outside the 3 circles. Okay, so basically what we've done so far is we've used diagrams that were already filled out to answer the questions. Now we've got to fill out the circles. So let me show you how we would do that. So basically what I always tell students is to work inside out. And I always think of the Disney cartoon movie Inside Out when we do this. So we're going to start on the inside, and then we'll work our way out to here, and then finally to here. So it says, at a lawn and garden business, the following information was collected regarding purchases from 130 of its customers. 74 purchased shrubs, 70 purchased trees, and 41 purchased both. I've had many students that try to do these problems without filling out the diagram. Like they'll try to answer these questions. The diagram is key, so it's very important that you fill it out. So we're going to work inside out. We have 41 that like both. Now there were 74 that purchased shrubs. So there's 74 in the shrubs circle. So you're going to have to take 74 minus the 41 that are already there, which means there's 33 in this area here. Notice 33 plus 41, that's the 74 that purchased shrubs. So you don't put 74 here. These two numbers need to add up to 74. You had 70 that purchased trees. So there's 70 in here. You already have 41. So if we do 70 minus 41, so this will be 10. So we'll get 9 and 2, which is 29. And notice 29 plus 41, that does equal 70. Now don't forget, we need to figure out how many are out here. Notice 130 were customers were, this is where the information was collected. So there's 130 total people. So we have 34 plus 41 plus 29. If you add those up, you get 103. And I want to subtract that from 130, and you should get 27. All right, so now that we've filled out the diagram, we can go ahead and answer the questions. How many purchased only shrubs? That's these guys, because these guys also purchased trees. So it's just these 33. How many purchased shrubs or trees? Now remember, with or, think union. So we're going to combine the two circles together. Basically everything in this set or both. So 33 plus 41 plus 29. We actually did that work down here. That was 103. Finally, how many purchased neither shrubs nor trees? Well, that's these guys here. Those are the people that are not in the trees circle or the shrub circle. All right, let's move on to our last problem. And I would encourage you to try to do this on your own first. Whoops. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little smaller. A survey of 120 Dallas businessmen was taken to determine whether or not they read the Dallas Morning News, the New York Times, and or the Wall Street Journal. It was found that, well, here's what we got. So 58 read the Dallas Morning News, and so on. Now, I want to remind you that when you fill out this diagram, you're going to work inside out. So you'll start in the very middle, then you'll go to these three parts here, and then these three parts here. So we're working our way outside, and then finally this one here, this region here. Okay, so notice we're really going to want to start at the bottom. 2 read all 3 newspapers. So there's 2 in here. 5 read the Dallas Morning News. They're in this circle, and the Wall Street Journal. So these here. So in this overlap here, because remember, and means intersection, we should have 5 people. Well, that means there's 3 here. 3 plus 2 gives you the 5. And next we have 25 read the Dallas Morning News and the New York Times. So Dallas Morning News and the New York Times, that's this region here. There's 25 in there. Well, that means there's 23 here. This needs to add up to 25. So basically, there's 25 people in this intersection, 2 here and 23 here. It doesn't matter that these people also read the Wall Street Journal. Finally, we need to do this one here. So New York Times and Wall Street Journal, there's 7 in that region. So there's 7 in this region here. Again, that's the intersection of these 2 sets. It's what the 2 sets have in common. So 2 plus 5 would equal 7. All right, hold on just a second. All right, so now we're ready to do these regions here. So we have 17 that read the Wall Street Journal. So we've already got 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's a total of 17. Well, 10 plus 7 would be 17. These should add up to 17. Now you could have added these up and subtracted from 17. Of course, 17 minus 10 is 7. All right, there's 40 that read the New York Times. So there's a total of 40 in the New York Times circle. We already have 25 here, and another 5 is 30, so there must be 10 out here. So if you add these all up, you get 40. And finally, 58 read the Dallas Morning News. Well, we have 25, 26, 27, 28. If you subtract 58 minus 28, that means there's going to be 30 in here. Now remember, there's one more region, we call it region 8. That's out here. How are we going to find that? Well, we can add all these up here and subtract from 120. So if you add all these up, you should get 80. Which tells us, so again, just add these up here, you should get 80, and that means 40 are out here. All right, so finally we're ready to answer the questions. So I'm going to move this up a bit. It says, how many read only the Dallas Morning News? Well, that would be these guys. So there's 30. How many read the Dallas Morning News or the New York Times? Sorry, I got a printer going on here. So again, we're going to union the Dallas Morning News and the New York Times. So we're going to union these 2 sets here. So we have 30, 23, 3 and 2, and 10 and 5. So when you add those up, you should get 73. All right, how many read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, but not the Dallas Morning News? So the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, that's these 2 circles. So and means we're going to look for the intersection. That's this region here, but not the Dallas Morning News. So we have to take out this part. They can't be in the Dallas Morning News circle. That leaves 5. How many read exactly 2 of the newspapers? Well, that's the 3, 23, and 5. These guys did Dallas Morning News and New York Times. This was Dallas Morning News and Wall Street Journal. These were New York Times, and Wall Street Journal. So 23 plus 3 plus 5. I'm getting 31 there. How many read none of the newspapers? That would be these 40 out here. All right, that's going to be it for this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions.